Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the RFD show. We are so excited to speak about the Super Rugby Aotearoa in this episode. I'm your host, Stefandre, aka The Boss. I am joined by Daniel, aka Dan the Man, and the Jackal, Jock. Jock, Daniel, let's begin with Jock. Jock, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Staying busy, staying warm in this cold weather. But yes, everything's good.
That's good. That's good to hear. I'm very glad. Daniel, how are you?
Well, since the rugby started, it's been all good. Happy to see some running rugby. Happy to see some good tries. Like Jock mentioned, there's been a bit cold in South Africa and in Pretoria in particular, but nothing we can't handle. So we'll get over it. But just excited to see some rugby again.
Absolutely agree with you. This cold weather. I'm not gonna moan about that again in this episode because then we'll be I think the third or the fourth one straight. So let's just move on to the rugby. So the weekend that has passed on the 20th and the 21st of June, we saw the Chiefs play the Blues. Of course, was an epic game. It unfortunately did not go to Daniel's pick for the Chiefs, but Jock and I was very excited for the Blues win over the Chiefs. And then, of course, the Hurricanes played the mighty Crusaders. And I need to apologize and just say well done to Jock, who is the Crusader supporter between the three of us in this competition,
Yes.
that your team did very, very well. So let's even just dive into that quickly and recap these two games. I'm going to start with you, Jock. What do you think about the Crusaders with their first game in this competition and just their overall gameplay?
Um, wow. Let's start with the first minute. Um, there, the action started already. Um, yes, great start for the Crusaders. I thought they were very good with their handling skills. I didn't think it didn't look like they were out for 3 months. The the team has a solid foundation. Communication is great. It's not even their A team, so uh, great start for the Crusaders. I just I just thought the guys like the backline and especially Will Jordan, who was man of the match, I think, had a great game, just blazing through and always working hard. So I think the boys did well. I think everybody is working together for the end goal. I think they want to show their dominance in this competition.
Yes, I agree with you there, and I think the Crusaders did very well. Agree with you completely. It doesn't look that they missed even 1 week of gameplay, which is insane. If that's the start, I don't know how they're going to finish, but let's see. Hopefully, on a upwards momentum. Daniel, what do you think about that game between the Crusaders and the Hurricanes?
Well, something the Crusaders has to take away from this game is what Jock mentioned: is it's not their A team. So
Mm,
hopefully they don't just disrupt their whole team chemistry by picking the A team now suddenly. They must actually build on this squad and just make small changes here and there because the tempo was amazing. The tempo was crazy fast. So
yes.
hopefully they
Mm.
just build on that and keep going forward with that momentum, and that will ensure them to continue playing well. But I believe that the game was won with the back three. George Bridge, Severies, Will Jordan were head and shoulders above the Hurricanes. Wes
Mm,
Goosen
Yes.
was nowhere. Tia had a shocker once again.
Mm.
He tried. It's not like he didn't try, but his offers didn't stick, and he made stupid mistakes. I think the one try was because he didn't compete with Will Jordan in the air, and that led to the mullet scoring. So I can't
Good
I
you.
can't remember his name now. Jack Goodyear, yes, that's his name. Just what is his name briefly? So luckily, as a distinct thing I can talk about. So yes, but there was the other winger. I can't remember now, but it was a good distribution between what Crusaders can do and what the Hurricanes should be doing. And like I
mm,
mentioned, my video is for like 40 minutes. Vince also was running, but no, Lomape didn't get the ball. So
yes.
why wouldn't you give Lomape the ball? That's something just crazy and absurd that the Hurricanes need to look at, because he was mad every time he knocked the ball or didn't get the ball, and that made him quite more dangerous because then he's mad and he'll run over you. So it's
Mm.
something that the Hurricanes could have utilized, but they didn't. And then the Crusaders with Uchimanga was just front football, and the forwards pack was just dominant. So can't beat that.
Yes, yes, I agree. I think the Crusaders definitely were head and shoulders above the Hurricanes, and that was quite sad because I backed the Canes. I thought they would really do it. Until the 70th minute, I had hope. I really had hope. I was shouting my lungs out, but that did not help at all. The gas just couldn't keep the car running, and that was the overall downfall for the Canes as well, in my opinion. They just stopped playing after the 70th minute completely, and that's where the Crusaders bounce. I don't know if you guys agree about that, but that's where the Crusaders bounce. If they smell
Yes.
blood in the water, they will not, sit back and say, we're already 7 points ahead. Let's rather not play to the best of our potential. That's not the case with the Crusaders. And that's why they're such a dangerous team as well. But then moving on to the previous game, just before that game was the Chiefs and the Blues. I'm quite excited because I'm backing the Blues in this competition. Daniel, what was your overall expectation for that game? And do you feel the Chiefs, again, just lost against themselves?
This is quite the opposite of what happened in the Crusaders game, as
Hmm.
there was no tempo, no rhythm, no front football. It just seemed to be a scrambling game. And then, once or twice there was a lucky break or converted penalties. And I think we had a handling stat that was shocking, a penalty stat that was shocking once again. So
Hmm.
it's just discipline and just converting is something that the Crusaders actually New Zealand teams are quite renowned for. And it was actually sad to see that the Blues and the Chiefs both were struggling with this, but the Blues adapted better quicker, and
Hmm.
that's why I think that they are actually the favorite to win this weekend as well. But we'll get into that later. So, but that definitely pushed them over the Chiefs and got them to win, because I really hope that McKenzie will run some gaps and stuff. But the Blues weren't excellent in what they were the week before that, but still weren't a bad team because they solidified as a unit. And that was something good to see, that even though they don't come together individually, like a Bowden Barrett performing, or Rika Ioane, or Kira Ioane, so Tutu not firing on all cylinders, the unit they were still better than the Chiefs. So,
Yes.
adapt and improvise, adapt, overcome, as Bear Grylls always says.
I agree. I agree with you there. I think Creighton didn't play a bad game overall. His first start back at 10 for the Chiefs, but on the same point, I think Damien McKenzie is struggling to find his rhythm, unlike the Crusaders in their first game. So that's going to be very interesting to see in this weekend coming. But Jock, just your final thoughts about that game before we head on to our next or our third round of this tournament.
Yes, I think the Chiefs weren't gelling at all. They played against themselves. But yes, the tempo was lacking in that game. It's not a typical New Zealand game for me. Like we said, the communication wasn't there with the Chiefs. Like when when they pass the ball, it's like who's gonna catch the ball. Nobody knows
Mm,
who's gonna catch the ball to get front football. And I just want to make a point about Warren Gatlin just quickly. Like we saw him in the coach's box, like standing back the whole time. He's not sitting there in front. And that for me, if I were a player, that would not give me a bunch of confidence. Just
mm,
personally, because it's like the coach is standing back. It feels like he's done his job. It's now your turn, and he's not taking the lead over the team. Let's say during halftime or whenever. It's like he's putting more pressure on his assistant coaches. But maybe that's just the way he coaches. But that's something I saw, and I think as a Chiefs team, they need that leader in Gatlin or whoever to come forward and take charge over this team. Otherwise, this team is gonna lose badly. But yes, the Blues also didn't have a great game handling errors. Also, I think a couple of lucky chances went their way. They also didn't play great. So hopefully both teams can sharpen up in the games to come.
yes, hopefully, and I'm agreeing with you about Gatlin. I think. I think the overall leadership of the Chiefs is lacking because of Sam Kane, and Sam Kane is in prison. And
Yes.
we saw that with Richie, actually, with Richie McCaw at the Crusaders. He didn't need to be the best at all.
Mm.
He just needed to be there. That's
Yes.
it. That's literally it. And it's quite interesting that you said you mentioned it in this episode, because if we don't see the Chiefs quickly turning their whole competition around, their gameplay and the way that they pitch up to the field, it's not going to be in it. I actually saw a meme that said the Chiefs are the new Blues. No disrespect to
Yes.
all the
I saw
players,
that.
all the fans there, but if you know, and if you've been backing the Blues, it's been a long journey, boys. But we're gonna get there this year. Come on, I'm just gonna preach it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I just want to add something there, because I mentioned, I think it was in one of the episodes before we started the Super Rugby, because Brodie Retallick's obviously not in the squad, and he's not injured. He's just not available for the Rugby Aotearoa. And we talked about Cruden and his leadership, how vital it will be with Brodie not being there. So that you see where they lack leadership. So it's quite the route that they need to fix and sort out.
that's a very valid point. Thanks for sharing that, because I think I didn't even think about Brody at the moment, but definitely a senior player, you know.
Yeah.
So I agree completely. But then let's move on to this weekend's game. I'm thinking this is going to be an interesting battle. And then, of course, hopefully your picks are in our Superbru pool. I'm just going to take a quick moment and ask you guys, please go join our Superbru pool. It's Rugby for Days. Super Rugby is the pool's name. We have an amazing prize at the end of this tournament. Whoever is on top of the pool, the number one player, he or she will receive a replica jersey of their choice of the Super Rugby franchises. So the person will choose that. So that's a prize up for grabs. Jock, I'll begin with you. So the first game is the Blues versus the Highlanders. Quickly tell me, who are you backing, and just a short description. Why do you think that team can win it?
Well, I went and looked at the history that Superbru gave us of the last 10 games.
Mhm.
The Highlanders are in front 7 wins out of 10. The Blues only winning 3. But for me, that is not relevant at the moment. Um, the Blues, oh, I can't say how much I'm excited about the Blues team this year. Um, Great bunch of players. So I went Blues by 12 points, just by the way they play. The Highlanders, they won their first game, but they didn't convince me as being a team as formidable as the Blues have shown us. So I went Blues by 12. It's quite a big margin, but if you look at the past 2 games they've played, the continuity is there, communication is there, everything is clicking for them. I think they are one of the top 2 teams currently, and hopefully they can build on this wins they've got.
Wow, that's quite a high pick. I'm sorry if I I had a burst
Yeah.
of in awe, but I'm glad that you're backing the Blues. Come on, let's do it. Daniel, what do you think about this game?
I agree with Jock saying that you can't go previous stats, because I'm thinking about the Highlanders' previous squad. You know, Aaron Smith, Limoso Boaga, they had Waisaki Naolo. You know, that all that players that usually are used to beat the Blues and beat them good.
Yes.
So most of them's gone now. So you can't rely on those previous stats. So I went Blues with 10. So I just think that's going to be a good game. I just think that the Blues have a bit more oomph in it, and the Islanders being 1 week on, 1 week off, they're going to struggle with rhythm, getting back into it. And they weren't convincing against the Chiefs. That was a lucky drop goal in the end. Could have gone either way. So if they have a confidence high, it's not that high as the Blues are with their momentum. So I think momentum will overcome the high the Chiefs, the Islanders are on. So yes.
That's interesting. So just for just repeating the picks. So Daniel said with 10, Blues backing with 10, and then Jock, you said with 12, right?
Yes.
With 12. Okay, that's very interesting. So I'm backing also the Blues. So this is going to be an interesting weekend
No surprise there.
if they lose this game. Oh, wow. Wink, wink, wink. So yes, of course, I'm backing the Blues. I really want them to do good in this tournament. I back them with only 6 points because I think it's going to be a tough game. Every game is a
Okay.
tough game. So yes, but I want to reveal just community stats on Superbru, which is going to be very interesting for you two to hear these stats. So Jock was completely right. The historic stats of the last 10 games, the Hurricanes, excuse me, the Highlanders won 7 and the Blues only 3, which is interesting. But with this game in particular, with the Blues playing very well, the picks are 85% for the Blues, which we can see it because all three of us went Blues, and only 15% for the Highlanders. And the number one and number two picks are 10 points and 12 points, which are your two picks. So
Wow.
that are very interesting. You guys are experts. Most people think like you. So that's very interesting to see it with that. But of course, no team lineups have been announced. You'll be very excited to see who will be in the teams. And just from my side, I really hope they choose Akira again at 6 and Papali at 7 and of course 8 to 2 with the Blues. I think that's a win-win for them, and they will be dominating the breakdowns again against the Highlanders. So Blues with 6 from my side. Then, of course, this is the big one. The Crusaders against the Chiefs. Not that the previous game is nothing, but this is going to be a tough one because if the Chiefs really if they don't pitch up with this game, it's basically tickets. No offense to any Chief supporter, but it's basically over if they can't pull their rabbit out of the hat for this game. So uh, we'll go Daniel first. Daniel, what do you think about this game, and who are you backing?
Yeah, it's bad that the Chiefs can possibly lose after this weekend, that they can't have a comeback because they had an unlucky first weekend and then they were just, muscled out of a win the second time. So it's unlucky for a quality side as the Chiefs to be the lower performing squad. Only the Hurricanes are beneath them. I never thought I'd say those words in one sentence. So it's quite sad to see. But I'm going Crusaders still because I believe they have the rhythm, they have the team, they have the match strategy to beat the Chiefs. It's a difficult pick still. I still believe it's not a clear winner, but I'm going Crusaders by 14 simply because of the one thing that happened this weekend with the Crusaders Hurricanes is when Gordon Bishop scored that drop goal. Seconds later, the Crusaders were scoring. And the Chiefs, the last 2 weeks, made a couple of minutes relapsed where they didn't focus, where they weren't in position. And if that's the case, the Crusaders are going to score some tries. It's going to be beautiful. So that's why I'm going so high, and going to decide that the Crusaders are going to beat them at home, obviously.
At home, obviously. That's maybe the phrase at this moment. Very interesting, and I agree with you. That's quite a good insight about the Chiefs, how they relapse, and you can't do it because we saw that with the Hurricanes struggling and keeping the tempo up against the Crusaders, but they couldn't keep it out. They couldn't keep the try scoring out. Jock, no, we know you backing the Crusaders, of course. We just want to know by how much.
Okay, so firstly, if I remember correctly, the Chiefs beat the Crusaders the last time they met. Um, so, but having said that, it's not the same team. Like Daniel said, it's lacking the leadership required for the team. So I went Crusaders by 16. Just pure fact that they have the win under the belt. The Chiefs, yes, they are hurting. But like I said previously, if the Chiefs can go back to basics, not doing like individual plays, but just doing the basics right, I think they will be better. I still don't think they can beat the Crusaders. But yes, the Crusaders also not the A team. We just heard today that Scott Barrett is out for the remainder of the season with a toe injury. so he's not coming back. So I think it's like a blessing in disguise for the Crusaders, maybe. Don't hate me for saying that, but like Daniel said, it's a young team that can build on this win again. Scott Barrett's always going to be the leader off the field, so they have good leadership. They have good players. Maybe the Chiefs can pull something out of the hat, but I doubt against the Crusaders. But yes, let's see. Maybe there's more drop goals in this game. I've never seen this much drop goals in the games. So yeah, it's gonna be very good running rugby for sure. But yes, let's see. If Richie Mo'unga is playing again, I think he will just dominate the gameplay. And yes, let's see. But Crusaders with 16.
16. Wow. So we are expecting quite the games for this weekend. Quite a big tally, actually. So yes, the Crusaders. I mean, I think we should make a dedicated podcast episode just for the Crusaders and how magnificent and powerful they are. And then I can just retract my statement of the past couple of videos we did on YouTube. Shameless plug, go follow us on YouTube, please. So, yes, I backed the Crusaders with 15, so I'm smack in the middle between you guys this game. So
Cool.
this is going to be interesting because what the last 2 weekends showed us is that Jock knows more about rugby than Daniel and I. So hopefully we
combined
by following him for this weekend, we are making headway with our picks.
And this is the weekend that all of us chose the same teams.
Yes, we just following you, but we didn't even discuss the pick. That's the funny part. Yes. So the Crusaders, the community stats on Superbru is Crusaders by 94%, Chiefs by 6, which is phenomenal. Crusaders average pick almost 11, 10.93 is the average overall pick, which is the number one pick for the Crusaders is, believe it or not, 12 points, which is double digits. That's quite insane because what you said was completely accurate, Jock. It is 5-5. And Chiefs won the last 2 games. So out of the last 10 games, both of them won 50-50, 5-5, 3 home, 2 away. Exactly the same. The one factor for me out of the last 10 games is that the Crusaders won 5 in a row. That's the difference.
And so by quite big margins.
Yes, quite huge margins. The last game they won was in their third meeting or so, three games back, and that was 29 points, which is quite hectic. So yes, this is going to be a very interesting weekend. I think we all are very excited for this weekend. And then I just quickly want to take a moment to speak about the following weekend, the 3rd to 5th July, that weekend, 3rd to 5th July, so it's the 4th of July in America, we'll party here as well, is the first weekend we are going to experience the Vodafone Super Rugby AU games as well. So we have 5 games playing that weekend, and that will be all available on the Super Rugby restart on Superbru. So please go and join us. You can still make up those points on the log. There are so much rugby to talk about, and we are so excited for that. And then from our side, we are so happy and glad that you have been following our episodes on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much for just following our content overall. We want to create valuable rugby content for all our listeners. We really want to build a community, and I'm just going to steal Daniel's words here, #RFT family. We'll start that on, I don't know, Instagram or something like that, so that we can get that hashtag going. And please don't forget to go watch our videos on YouTube. We are still the rugby blog, rugbyfordays.com. And then I'm actually, I don't know who to leave the question to for the day. So I'm just going to let you battle it out. Who wants to have the question of the day?
Well, I firstly want to mention something. I don't know if Braden Eno is still gonna play because he suffered a hamstring injury. But my question of the day I would like Jock to answer this one, and then obviously state it to the fans out there. What do you really think of David Avili as a rugby player? So just as bold statement, because if Braden Eno is injured, David Avili will obviously come up and start this weekend. So it'll be obviously a shift in dynamics, which they already didn't prepare for.
It's quite tough. For me, David Havili is an amazing player. He's versatile. He's dangerous on attack. He's good on defense. But yeah, that's the thing. If Braden Eno is injured, who's going to take his place? But yeah, we would likely to see Will Jordan maybe shift to center and Havili to fullback, or Havili at center. But I think, yeah, Braden, I think I hope he will recover. In time, I think he's too good of a player to leave out, but hopefully his injury isn't that severe. But yeah, let's see when the teams get announced. But for me, David Avili is the next great All Black fullback for me. If it's not Will Jordan, it might be David Havili. But I think Mackenzie might have had his day. I can't think of anybody now at fullback who's better than the two Crusaders now. So yeah, I hope the two will combine good, Havili and Jordan. If Goodhue is there with Bridge and Severis, it's going to be a phenomenal backline, and it's going to be hard to stop them.
I think that's a very good question, and that is Daniel's question of the day. So please tweet us your thoughts about that. And I just quickly want to rectify my mistake. It will be 4 games on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th of July, not 5. Okay. So anyway, thanks so much for joining me, Daniel, Jock. I really appreciate it. We are so excited for the next couple of rounds of rugby. And then for all of the listeners, stay safe, stay excited about rugby, #RFD family.